The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. Boop, right there in the top right-hand corner. Make sure to check out them if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle. They go the extra mile for you, so you don't have to. We try to do the same here on this show every single day, following Greenwood Chevrolet's lead. And we look forward to doing that today as well, as we have a really good show for you today. We have another season preview from the spring sports season. We come at you from Howland on the softball diamond as we talk to their head coach, Nicole Waite, as we try to round up the whole AAC, where we're getting there, right? We have, I think, two AAC coaches left, baseball, softball, before we cover everyone in the AAC that is YSN affiliated. Obviously, Warren Harding has not signed with YSN yet. That's a huge shout out to anyone out there from Warren Harding that's listening. If you want to be a part of the YSN family, come on, let's complete the conference. Let's get you aboard. Let's get you taken care of. But yeah, I think Ty's taking care of Austintown Fitch baseball, and that leaves Gary Niddle, who we have reached out to. So we are just about done with the AAC. We're trying to get as many teams as humanly possible. You got to be patient with me, because during basketball, Ty was able to help a lot more. He had a whole week off of work that he was able to just chunk through a bunch of interviews. So I am getting them as fast as I can solo. So be a little bit patient, and we will try to get to as many teams as possible before the start of the season. Actually, Saturday is our first day of baseball and softball. We are hopping right into it on Saturday. So we continue today. Howland Tigers softball will be featured on today's episode of Running Point. Nicole Waite gave us her time to talk about their team. Obviously, big names in Howland. Brooke Tater, who is an excellent pitcher, going into her junior year in the circle, so officially an upperclassman. She has raised her velocity from what I've heard, which is just scary because she spins it so well. So if she has even more speed than she did last year, that's troublesome for anyone that has to go up against the Tigers. Obviously, players like Alyssa Masucci from the shortstop position, who can also just hammer the ball, hit home runs, but then if you need her to, hit for speed and play small ball, because she is a pretty speedy base runner, if I do say so. Myself, Cindy Vaness, who is another senior for that Howland team, came aboard really late in the season and really had some big plays and big games for the Tigers as well. So a lot to be excited about for that Howland team, and Nicole Waite will go over their whole roster and talk about all the players that are going to be big for the Tigers this year. So can't wait for you guys to hear that interview. Towards the end of the show, we'll play Nicole Waite and her interview. But one of the other things we want to do today is we want to go over the roster that we announced last night for the All-Star game, which is happening on Sunday. Basketball All-Star game at Boardman High School Sunday. 5 o'clock start time for the girls. Skills competitions after that. We have the girls 3-point, boys 3-point, girls 3-2-1 contest, boys dunk contest, and then after that, we will obviously do the boys All-Star game. We are so excited for all of it to go down Sunday at 5 o'clock. We had the draft last night, which is really Unless you were looking at our graphics and you kept track of all the graphics, it was the first time you got to really see everyone's name pop up on the screen and really see our roster. We will also, of course, have content on the website here very shortly that will list the roster out for you that you can read it. It'll also have all the information that coaches and players will need for getting their players there, what uniforms to wear, etc., etc. But we're going to take some time here on Running Point and just go over the names and talk about them a little bit and have some fun with that. So let's hop into the roster for the boys All-Star game first, and we will just go through the names. These are going to be in order of alphabetical from the team that they play on. So that's how we're gonna start, and we start with Archbishop Hoban, of course. Jonas Nichols gets the All-Star nod for Hoban, the reigning state champions in Division One. And there's a lot of talented players in Hoban. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at that team, it's Jonas Nichols if you had to pick one. And he is running the show. He is a great basketball player, one of the best talents we have in the Ysn family, and proud to have him aboard for the All-Star game. Austintown Fitch gets 2 representatives into the game as Deshaun Vaughn Jr., a tremendous, and I mean tremendous senior leader for Austintown Fitch. He averages double figures, so it's not like he doesn't score. He averages 11 points per game, but then he averages just barely south of 5 assists per game, which tells you that not only is he scoring, is he able to score and score in really tremendous ways. And down the stretch, he hit really big shots in big times this season, was a big part of them beating Canfield on the road this year. They went into Canfield and split that AAC series with the Cardinals. Deshaun Vaughn Jr. made a lot of big plays down the stretch in that game, so he has the clutch gene as well. But all that, the assist numbers tell me all I need to know about the leadership and the character of Deshaun Vaughn Jr. because he sacrifices his own points to get others better opportunities. And that's what I think makes him such a good basketball player and so well deserving to be on this team. His teammate Marcel Finkley, that's a no-brainer. He leads the AAC in scoring. He averages over 15 points per game. And when you lead the conference in the scoring, hey, come on aboard. Let's get you on there. We have Duncan Moy from Badger. If anyone's having an all-star game anywhere in Northeast Ohio and they don't invite Duncan Moy, don't know what you're doing. You might be a little bit blind to the people in Kinsman, or maybe you're living under a rock. I don't know what your deal is, but if you don't have Duncan Moy on your all-star roster, it's invalid. It's immediately invalid. And he averages, over 25 and almost 30 a game. There was a stretch this season where he did not have a game under 30 points. Incredible. He's one of the best basketball players I think we've seen on YSN since we started. And that's saying something because we've had a lot of good basketball players come through since 2017 in the YSN family. But this kid's once in a generational talent. He's not just a tall kid. Yes, he's very tall, but he's got basketball skill. He's got basketball IQ. And that just makes him so dangerous. Duncan Moy from Badger, proud to have you aboard. We go next. Beaver Local has a representative. It is Austin Klein. And yes, he is a senior. If you watched the draft last night, I made it oopsie. I'll own it. I feel like it was just yesterday we were talking about his first year as a quarterback at Beaver Local. And here he is as a senior going to Dayton to play football. And wow, it sneaks up on you how fast his time goes. And I really thought Austin Klein, I was like, there's no way he's a senior. It hasn't been that long, but yeah, it has. Austin Klein, senior at a Beaver Local. He'll be there at the All-Star game, and as good as he is on the football field, he is just as good on the basketball court. And gonna bring a great atmosphere to this All-Star game. Of course, the Boardman Spartans have to have a representative. They're the host school, and it is Terrell McDowell from the Spartans. He will be in his home unis as well, so we'll be able to see McDowell in his nice white jersey in his last game at Boardman. We go from there from Brookfield, Mateo Fortuna. Man, if you haven't seen Mateo play basketball, you're missing out. Plenty of double-doubles this year, a couple of triple-doubles as well. broke the 1,000-point scoring mark this season. Just a fantastic athlete. He's one of the underrated kids in the Ysn family, I think. I don't think nearly enough people talk about the things he's able to do. And he made it a nightmare for a lot of defenses in that MVAC grade tier to try to guard him. And not many people did. And when you look at his season stats and the way that he was able to put up numbers. So, Mateo Fortuna, we can't wait to see you put on a show at the All-Star game. From Campbell Memorial, Josh Sway, or we call him Sway, so does everybody else. Mr. Sway Rodriguez. Sway, 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 Sway. Yeah. Can't wait to have him aboard. This kid is just a ball handler. He's really good at the quick moves. He's got quick feet, good footwork, and he can shoot the lights out of the gym. So he's going to be exciting. It's the players like Sway that are built for all-star games because they're built to go put on a show. And he's going to do that out of Camel. Every time we bring someone from Camel into this boys basketball all-star game, they end up putting on some kind of awesome show. I remember Kevin Moore coming into our all-star game a couple of years ago at South Range and watching him just be able to let his hair down a little bit and go play a pickup game of basketball was just so fun to watch. And I think Sway's going to do the same thing for this all-star game here on Sunday. Canfield, Sam Castronova. Obviously, that's a double-digit score. We have Dom Cruz, who will also be in the three-point contest. He's right below Marcel Finkley in that AAC scoring race. Finkley beat him by about 0.5 of a point per game. So Dom Cruz also averages above 15 per. He's a deadly three-point shooter. He shoots over 40% from beyond the arc, which is insane. I believe that's the best three-point percentage in the AAC and one of the best three-point percentages in the whole YSN family. And then we'll also have Tony Russo from Canfield. The Cardinals go all the way to the regional finals. And, of course, they need to get some players on board. So Tony Russo, Sam Castronova, and Dom Cruz will all be a part of the All-Star game on Sunday. Coming back to Boardman, a little bit of rivalry there. Can we put on a show at Boardman again one more time as a conference rival? I know they will. And they're also going to be on opposite teams. So Dom Cruz and Tony Russo will be on the same team. They'll be wearing their away jerseys. But Sam Castronova, he's on the other side. He'll be wearing his whites. He's on the home team. So I love seeing teammates go up against each other. We hear about it. We hear about what they do in practice all the time and how competitive they get. And to actually see it in a pickup game is always fun. From Cardinal Mooney, Rocco Turner, and Eddie Nieves will both be on the team. And, wow, talk about pedigrees. Rocco Turner coming, and he's obviously a state champion golfer. And he brings us the dead-eye three-point shot from the perimeter for Mooney. And then Eddie Nieves is in everything, right? He's that jack of all trades. He's big enough that he can go inside, post up, and give people problems in the paint. But, he's liable to go out in the perimeter and make you pay with his handling and his shooting ability as well. So you got to love guards that can go and post up with their size. We go to Champion, a kid that really is one of my favorites. Got a chance to cover him a couple of times early in the season. Marky Nolan, just a great young man, a well-spoken kid, respectful, does everything the right way. He's also, by the way, a very good basketball player for Champion. They lost 8 seniors a year ago. So 8 seniors graduate from this Champion program. They were putting a lot on Marky Nolan's shoulders to come out and be a young leader. And I thought he did a tremendous job in doing that this season. We have Cheney, 2 representatives from Cheney as well. It's Deshaun Holcomb and Austin Brown, both going to be joining us from the Cowboys in Youngstown. And, man, they're both going to be wearing the away jerseys as well, which is good for us because those Cheney away jerseys are slick. The black uniforms with the red lettering. Something about black and red just go together really well. And they're going to be putting on a show. It's also intimidating, I think. I think all black is intimidating, and they're going to put on a show as well. If you've watched Cheney this year, they are that team that will make you pay for every little ounce of room that you give them. And the All-Star game gives you a lot of room, right? Because it says, hey, go out there and put on a show. So They're gonna have some fun. Maddox Brown out of Columbiana, he'll also be dunking in our dunk contest. Flex on him a little bit. He's going to be a great add-on to our All-Star game out of Columbiana. One of the best players in the EOAC, very talented EOAC, mind you. And Maddox Brown has been playing above the rim for quite a while in the hangar down there in Clipper Country. Give him an old Clipper clap during the All-Star game, please. Want to hear it. Want to hear the Clipper clap at least once. I'm not going to do it, but I want to hear it. I'm not going to do it here on the show. If you started the All-Star game, I'll do it with you, but I'm not going to do it here on the show. Tawny Odds Chance Loomis gets on the All-Star roster. We are proud that our Ashtabula County kids are able to get representatives on this roster, and Conneaut is no change in that, and Mr. Loomis is a great addition as well. He'll be wearing his away uniform. So will Justin McKee from Crestview. Just a hard-working young man that is like one of the kids that on this roster earned it with doing things the absolute right way. So Justin McKee's on there from Crestview. Can't wait to see him out there. East had a very good season this year out of Youngstown in the Steel Valley Conference, a very tough Steel Valley Conference with Ursuline in there, who is still alive and kicking in the state semifinals on Saturday. And Isaiah McCray, one of the best scorers in that whole conference. You look at the stats, if they back that up, he can absolutely score with the basketball in his hand from anywhere on the floor. He will be representing East, and so will his buddy, Cam Sly, and that'll be a high flyer in the dunk contest. This kid can play above the rim. And when we say a sleeper in the dunk contest, because I think there's a kind of a sneaky suspicion from the outside, people that are kind of trying to, predict the dunk contest, and everyone's giving it to one kid, and it's a guy who's named Duncan. But I think Cam Sly, he's that sleeper in this dunk contest. You cannot underestimate what he's able to do with his body in the air. Preston Curve out of East Liverpool. We are so proud that this big man is able to join us. He's one of the best post players down there in that conference. And he's not just a post player either. He's really good at that mid-range jump shot. Love watching Preston play. And he will be joined by another Preston from East Liverpool. And they're both going to be on the same team, by the way. They're both going to be on their home whites, as Preston Dawson from East Liverpool gets the add-on as well. We go to East Palestine. Owen Iriauchi, he is a name that has been drenched in East Palestine lore for his whole career, quarterback for the football team, of course, and he's also the absolute outspoken leader for this East Palestine basketball team. And we love leaders. We love leaders in this All-Star game. We love showing and shining a light on the people that have led a whole program, a whole school system for their high school career. So we love having Owen as a part of our All-Star game here this season. Edgewood has a representative, and it is Jacob Ernst. And Sam Torres cannot speak highly enough about Mr. Ernst, and he will be in our dunk contest trying to put on a show, trying to show everyone how the 440 does it up there in Ashtabula County. And I know Sam Torres is going to have a little extra juice when he has the ball in his hands, trying to represent that whole nation up there in the 440. We go on to Garrettsville Garfield. Preston Gideon will be their representative out of the G-Men. He will be in his home white, and so will Gerard's Dom Phillips. And Dom Phillips, another kid that we just love the example that he sets for Gerard. I know Gerard had a tough season record-wise, but when you watch him on the floor, I got to cover him a couple of times, you never count out Dom Phillips. He's on there. He never looks at the scoreboard. He's going to be playing hard no matter what the opportunity or the score is, and Dom Phillips is just a great kid. We can't wait to have him on the All-Star roster. Grand Valley sending a representative, Jerry Arrington, who's kind of solidified himself as one of the best players that Grand Valley has ever had, especially in the rebound category. Broke the record this year for rebounds in a career for the Mustangs. Jake Walker out of Heartland Christian, they had a really good tournament run. He was a big reason why, and he's going to get the nod. Of course, his coach, Josh Scott, will be on the sidelines, so that's going to be fun to see them be able to get together one last time. We go from Heartland Christian down to Howland. It's Alex Henry, their point guard. They're Mr. Do Everything, and Howland was a team we talked about on the draft last night. with Ty Bartell. They're just a team that's always in it. I've seen them come back from deficits that you think would be having most teams dead and buried, but not Howland. And Alex Henry was a big reason why. And he's going to be on the away team for this All-Star game, so he'll be wearing those nice black uniforms for Howland. Braden Songer from Hubbard, man, I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan of Braden. He was in our All-Star game last year for baseball. He put on a show as a freshman during the baseball season, really caught a lot of people's eye. And then all of a sudden, it's like this year, he blasted the doors open in the basketball season as well. And we can't wait to have him aboard for representing the Eagles. We go to Jefferson. Joey DeGeorge, 6'7". That's all you need to know. 6'7". I mean, that might be, he'll be up there in the tallest players in the All-Star game. I don't know what Duncan Moy goes at, but 6'7", that's gonna be a guy that's able to tell us what the weather looks like up there a little bit. And by the way, Joey DeGeorge, excellent scorer. So he scores a lot of points. And hopefully for him, he's able to score a lot in the All-Star game as well. We go to LeBray Austin Rowe, 3-point shooter to save your life. I mean, you're not going to find too many players that can shoot the ball like Austin and that work on his shot like Austin does. He was one of the best freshmen of the season last year, and he has not had a sophomore slump at all this year. We go to Lakeside, Dylan Newsome, and he will be in our 3-point contest. He broke the record for threes in a season down there in the program for Lakeside. He hit over 50 threes this year, so you know he's going to get the nod in the 3-point contest. And then Latonia also has a player that broke their 3-point record in a season. Carson Brock, congratulations to him. He broke some records during the football season as well. Remember that tackle record for him. For the Bears this football season, now breaking the 3-point record. He will be in our 3-point contest for Latonia. Out of Liberty, you have Evan Bates, a guy that just took a young team on his shoulders and led them through the woods and the wilderness and all the toughness that this season brought. Can't speak highly enough for the things that Evan Bates did for the Leopard program this year that will pay off dividends in the future. Mr. Trevor Sifke from Lisbon. Man, all you need to know is this kid has been through the ringer this year. He lost his mom, unfortunately, right before the end of the season. Came back, played in that last tournament game, scored 27 points, did everything he possibly could to get Lisbon a victory. Unfortunately, they fell just short in that tournament win. But he's just a young man that we have seen for years, that we've been a fan of, that we can't wait to give him one last hurrah as a Lisbon Blue Devil in this All-Star game. He will be on the away team, so he will be able to wear those away Lisbon jerseys. And he will join a guy that is up for Mr. Basketball in Hayden Nigro from Louisville. And, they had someone up for Mr. Basketball last year too, and Mr. Will Chancic. So 2 years in a row, that ain't bad. That ain't bad for Louisville. And they have another Chancic up in the ranks too. Out of Lowville, we'll have Matt Lucido as a part of this basketball team. Can't wait to see what he brings to the table out of the MVAC Scarlet tier. Lowville was a team that had a tough start to the season, but then found a really big groove. And they went to Springfield, one of the only teams to beat Springfield inside that gym in the conference. They were able to do it on the road. That was probably one of the most impressive wins for Lowville of the year. Speaking of MVAC Scarlet tier, McDonald sending Drew Zajac to the All-Star game, a great representative for that community and a great family as well. Chase Moore from Middle Ridge, and I can't speak highly enough for what Middle Ridge and Chase Moore and the whole team put together this year. They were in a tough spot. They had a lot of injuries to deal with coming out of the football season. A lot of the kids that they thought they were going to rely on were not available. Just, out of the blue, out of nowhere. And they had to pivot, and they had to adjust, and they had to work hard. And they're young kids that really probably didn't expect to get a lot of varsity time this year, or at least expect to get nearly as much as they ended up getting. Stepped up big time, got some big wins, especially early, started the season off really, really well, and had a improved season from a year ago. That's all you want to do is take steps take steps towards greatness. Middle Ridge did that really well with their young basketball team this year. And they will be, well, Chase Moore at least will be wearing his home jerseys for Middle Ridge. On the away team, though, it'll be Bobby Fadden from Mohawk, a guy that can score, and then score it again. And we are proud that we have the PA representative as well. We need to get more players from the Keystone State into our All-Star game. Anthony Budak, the multiple sport athlete from Niles, another great senior leader. We love highlighting him for the Dragons, and he put together a great basketball season. Can't wait to see him out there. Carmine Tukalo is your Poland representative. He was in the running for NE8 Player of the Year. Poland won the NE8 as a team. Man, this kid's fun to watch. He can drive. He can take you off the dribble. He can also shoot the lights out of a gym as well. This is a multi-tooled player, and he has more years left at Poland to try to repeat as an E8 champs next year. We go from Poland down to Salem, and it'll be Trenton Fink, a guy that their coaching staff speaks so highly of in Quaker country. He'll be the representative for Salem. Sebring gets Dustin Black, a great guy that really puts in the work for the Trojans. South Range, NE8 Player of the Year, Landon Moore, and Luke Rowan, who might be one of the best three-point shooters in the area when it comes to getting hot. And that's what you have to do in a three-point contest. He's had 2 games this season where he found a streak and hit 7 threes in the game. The South Range record is 8. So he came really close twice this year to breaking that record, which is impressive. So when he gets rolling, he is a very good shooter. And that's what you need in a three-point contest, right? You need to just be hot at the right time and get into that groove. And Luke Rowan is really good at that. Southern local, Noah Chase, he's coming to the party. One of those players that stepped up after Southern lost such a big senior class. Springfield has Sean Guerrero, the MVAC champions in the Scarlet tier. You got to get them a representative, of course, and it's the guy with the same name as their football coach, right? And DJ made the joke, maybe a better basketball player than the old football coach, but we'll have to put that to the test, maybe. I think that would be fun. United sending Luke Courtney. The question is out. Can he come and kick a field goal in the All-Star game? He might drive the bus to the All-Star game too. Mr. Do Everything for United. Valley Christian has Rashawn Bell as a representative. The Eagles with a strong season out of the MVAC. Warren JFK, Michael Condolian, three-point shooter extraordinaire and leading scorer. One of the leading scorers, I should say, for Warren JFK. Nick Ryan, he'll be in the dunk contest. He is the leading scorer for Warren JFK. You have Jaden Ritchell, who also averages double figures for Warren JFK. And last but not least, Nico Seminaro, who also averages double figures and led the team in steals in pretty much every defensive category when you talk about on-ball defense for Warren JFK. So, a talented bunch that Coach K told us was going to be really good before the season even started, and they did not do anything but live up to the expectations. Out of Waterloo, we have Jackson Eichler. Waterloo with a very good season on the boys' side of basketball and really defensively. Jackson Eichler might be one of those guys that is unable to turn that competitive defense off in an all-star game. You might see him get some steals, some blocks, some deflections, and some fast break layups. We also have Tyrell Watkins from Wellsville, a kid that had more double-doubles than I think anyone that I saw on YSN. He was always like, every time you write a story about Wellsville, well, Tyrell Watkins had a double-double. And he was just putting up a show all year. And then last but not least, out of West Branch, we have Jackson Robb, who will also be in our three-point contest from West Branch. Those are the rosters. And once again, I want to give a shout-out to the coaching staff, the 4 coaches that have volunteered their time to come out and make this a fun opportunity for these players. We have Josh Upshire from Badger. We have Nick Miller from Beaver Local, Josh Scott from Heartland Christian, and Kerry Palermo from Cardinal Mooney. So we want to thank those 4 guys for putting on the volunteer hat and coming out and making this experience great for all these players and making sure they have a fun time and they're getting what they want out of the All-Star game as well. We will take a break here on Running Point, and when we come back, we will have our Coach's Corner with Nicole Waite from Howland. We will do the girls roster, break that down, and go over my thoughts of these players on the girls roster tomorrow. Plenty of time until Sunday. But for now, we will take a break. Be back on Running Point. When we come back, we will have Nicole Waite from Howland. So don't go anywhere on Running Point. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
Now you can see every school, to the smallest school, to the intermediate schools, to the schools in the outlying areas. It gives you coverage that you could just never get to before. It's something that's great to experience, and it's opened up a whole new wave of sports viewership. The possibilities are endless here at YSN. Push the envelope every day. Try something new. If it works, great. If it doesn't, well, let's try another angle, and we just keep moving forward. My name is Mike Ackelson, and my sports network is your sports network.
What can you do on over 5,000 acres? At Mill Creek Metro Parks, you can discover unique habitats and wildlife, create memorable family moments, experience history, heritage, and park programs, explore scenic landscapes, take time to relax and be well, connect with nature and each other. Come see what's new at Mill Creek Metro Parks. Plan your trip now at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means taking care of our local customers.
And it's just a great feeling to put them in a vehicle and get them all excited about a new vehicle.
At the end of the day, our goal is to be someone our customers can count on.
And every day I'll go the extra mile for the community so they can trust us.
To do anything that would convenience the customer or make them feel more at home.
Realizing, number one, that we're here for them and that we're not going to go away.
That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by the guys you just heard from, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown in that commercial break. As said before the break, we are promising a Coach's Corner featured here today with Nicole Waite, the head coach of the Howland Tigers. We're not going to keep you waiting any longer for that, so I want to introduce this interview from Nicole Waite from Howland and a great season preview. I hope you enjoy it. Anthony Hartwig here with another spring season preview. We're joined by the Howland softball coach, Nicole Waite. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Thank you for having me.
All right, before we talk about this exciting Tigers team and obviously what you have in store this season, let's reflect a little bit on last year, talk about some of the things that you saw from the team as a whole and some of the lessons that you think can be carried from last year into this season.
We ended up last year a little over 500. We lost in the sectional final to Field. They were a really good team. It was just a few small things that we couldn't get to execute that day. I lost 6 seniors from that team. So, we're building upon those, filling some, new shoes with some youth and building upon the losses and the small things that we couldn't get done last year. And we hit the ground running in Winter League this year. So we're hoping to get further than we did last year.
Yeah, let's talk about this year. Obviously, you did lose 6 seniors, which is a tough blow to any program, but you bring back some big names that everyone in the softball community knows for that Howland softball team. Talk about this year and some of the expectations you have, and then go into your roster and shout out the names that you have and the players that need to be watched by the Howland community.
Sure. Us as a coaching staff are super excited for this year. Like I said, we hit the ground running in Winter League this year. Our girls all were really dedicated all the way. We played out in athletics from November to January. They put the work in on mostly on Sundays. They were willing to drive out there, put the work in. It's been a really nice league that they've been offering out there. It just gets the reps in, gets you out of the gym and actually playing. My girls showed up, even though I had some in winter sports, between basketball, cheerleading, travel sports. They showed up every week and got the job done. So we were able to kind of see what we were going to have to build upon. And from that point on, we just started working. I, of course, have 3 senior varsity players back. I have Zoe Tomko. She'll probably be playing right field and some second base for us. She always has a great attitude and just willing to do what we need her to do. Sid Vaness, who will be in left field for us. She's going to play at Washington and Jefferson. She's one of our captains. Sid's a great kid. She's always willing to carry equipment and do whatever we need her to do. She always has a good attitude and wanting to know what she can do to better the team. And of course, we have Alyssa Masucci back. She'll be at shortstop for us. And she is moving on after the season to play at Slippery Rock. You can't go wrong with those 3 seniors. They're great kids. They're on and off the field, good kids, good students, and just really supportive of the team. On the mound, we're going to have Brooke Tater back. Definitely can't go wrong with her. She is just a force to be reckoned with, whether she's on the mound, at the plate. She'll probably play some third base for us. She could really go anywhere we needed her to go. The best thing about Brooke is her attitude and her energy that she brings to the field. She's just always willing to step in, and she's a leader out there along with, my seniors and Alyssa at short. Those 2 really are going to be great leaders in the infield for me. Over at first base, we're going to be probably sharing duties over there with some underclassmen. Callie Lumen is going to probably be playing first base for us. She's a sophomore. She's also going to be doing some pitching at the JV level for us. I have Callie Vardavis, who is a junior. She will probably pitch in some first base for us. Over at second base, I have underclassman Lily Ansel. She's going to be playing some second base for us. She'll probably be sharing those duties with Zoe Tomko. Of course, we're going to have Masucci over at short. And then third is going to be shared between Tater when she's not on the mound and Maya Kabancic, who is one of my freshmen up on the varsity level this year. You guys are probably familiar with her name. This will be her 3rd varsity sport so far this year. She's played volleyball, basketball, and now she'll be on the field for us for softball. I also have a couple other freshmen who are also going to be up at the varsity level with us. We're super excited about our young talent. We have Madison Schmitz is going to be in center field. And we're also going to have Bree Dieter is going to be behind the plate, catcher for us, also a freshman. We're super excited about the competitive and travel experience that Madison and Bree bring to us. Their youth between Maya, Bree, and Madison is going to be great for us this year. The energy that we have going on with this squad this year, we are super excited about. So we're just looking forward to the year. The energy, the coachableness that the girls have shown us so far this year, we as a staff are just so excited about.
Could you bring up your seniors this year, and with such a young roster outside of them, how much have you already seen them set the tone and kind of set the standard for what is expected for the softball program to the younger players that are going to mean a lot to your program for years to come?
Yeah, we just talked about this last week at practice. We've talked about over the last couple of years, team chemistry and what the girls have on the field is something that us as coaches can't give them. And what we've seen so far this year with this squad, we're just super excited to build upon. And we talked about this year with only having 3 seniors, you obviously are going to have to rely upon some other, juniors, sophomores, and obviously the freshmen are in the mix. And it's not just going to be relied upon the seniors to make sure that stuff's getting done. And like I said, Brooke, is a leader, even though she's not a senior. She has always been in that leader role, but I've really seen her morph into even more of a leader this year. She's almost like a mini coach on the field sometimes. So between her and obviously Alyssa at short, and we all know what, what kind of experience Alyssa brings to us and what kind of athlete she is and her integrity and her example as a player on the field. And also Sid and Zoe are great seniors that lead by example as well.
All right, let's go into your schedule. We'll start with your conference, which I have told many people who will listen, probably the hardest conference in the whole state of Ohio. If you find another one with a state champion and a state runner-up, let me know. I don't think there is one. And then you have to deal with Boardman and Warren Harding as well. Talk about this conference, what you kind of want to get out of it, and how you see it shaking out this year.
You're right about our conference. It was actually interesting when we were up in Sandusky about 2 weeks ago. We saw some teams up there, and one of the teams that we saw was conference champs, and we played a pretty good game and, put some runs on them. And they kept saying to us, wow, are you guys do you guys win with districts? Do you guys go to state? We're like, no, but I mean, we compete, but our conference is full of a state champion and a runner-up. I said, so it just goes to show you the difference in the area of what we have going on in Northeast Ohio, especially within our conference and the competition. So we're super excited to hit the ground running. We're excited to open up with Boardman. I think that we are pretty comparable to Boardman. I think it's going to be a great game. And, we play each other back-to-back, Monday at our place, Tuesday at their place. I think it's going to be great games for us to open up with. And, of course, we have Austintown, Canfield, Warren. They each have different dynamics going on. We obviously have some really strong pitching going on in our conference. We're super excited about our lineup this year, and we definitely think that we're going to be able to get some runs on the board.
When you're talking about conference teams, do you think one of the advantages you have, and probably Boardman has too, and Warren Harding, when you're talking about Canfield and Fitch, is there's no lack of familiarity. Exactly what you're getting. There's no mystique there anymore. It's we've played them. Your seniors have played them 3 times now. Does that help you guys to know, hey, it's just Austintown Fitch. It's familiar. We know exactly what we're getting. We're getting a lot of really good things, but we at least know what we're getting into when we play a Fitch or a Canfield.
I think it does help you know what you're getting into, but I don't think that you can always be prepared for going in there. You can always just go in there and, do your best and try and get some hits and try and get some runs on the board. I think our freshmen I know Schmitz and Dieter and Kabancic are super excited to go in and see some of that pitching in our conference. They play some high travel ball caliber. So I know that they're super excited to go in and see what kind of pitching Austintown and Boardman and Warren and Canfield have to offer. An advantage for us, we always say in our conference, all of us have a pretty good pitcher. So I think our girls are used to going in and, here at practice, they get some hitting, practice against Brooke, who throws, really well and has really increased her speed over the last year. So it helps that our girls get to have hitting practice against a pitcher that's, caliber, same as them.
As if the conference wasn't hard enough, I know you have stacked your non-conference schedule with plenty of tough teams that will also prepare you for tournament time. Who are teams that you're kind of excited about in the non-conference that you think are going to be those teams that really do challenge you and get you ready for postseason?
We're super excited to play Lakeview again this year. We lost to them last year non-conference. We kind of had a rain out. We had to cancel. We had the game was going one way, and then we had to come back and play it. It kind of changed the dynamics of things, but they're they're young like us and have some good pitching. So we're excited to play them. We're excited to play Ursuline. We're going to play them under the lights this year at YSU. So we're always excited to play them. Poland, we're heading out to play on their new field this year. We have been scheduled to play each other the last couple of years, but unfortunately weather hasn't cooperated. Columbiana has been tough the last couple of years. We've had great matches against them. So those are a couple that probably stick out at the top of my mind.
Yeah, you brought up weather, and it's a question that every coach has to be asked every spring. How do you navigate, the weather of Ohio? Obviously this week, just for example, not a lot of scrimmages happening in 32-degree weather today. So what are some of your personal techniques that you use to keep the girls engaged? Maybe there's a week where you get a couple of rainouts and you're not being able to get out on the field. What do you do to keep your team, ready to go in those kind of stretches?
We just try and look at the week and see what the weather is going to be like. Even this week, we're just in some different locations based upon the weather and what each day-to-day is going to be like. Sometimes we're in the gyms. Sometimes we've been fortunate the last couple of years to utilize the turf on the football field. We've gotten a ton of practices in on that. We secured like an off-site location this year that we're getting ready to go practice out again tomorrow. So just being able to get in, our girls have been super great this season so far with the unpredictability of the weather. And, they've just been willing to put in the work in no matter where we're at, whether we're up top in the upper gym, just getting some reps in for hitting, whether we're on the gymnasium court, getting some fielding in, or we're down at the turf, trying to utilize the whole field. We have the last 2 years utilized some equipment so that we're able to get some games in on the turf when maybe our field or maybe somebody else's field is too wet. We secured a portable backstop and also some turf bases. And it's really been nice. We played like our whole Tony Ross tournament there on the turf last year. And it's not like, obviously it's not the most ideal. It's not plan A, but it's a great plan B. So it's really, we probably played 6 games on the turf last year.
Coach, I want to give you the time before we let you go to shout out your coaching staff. We know that you don't do it alone. You have great people behind you. I want you to talk about the people that you have helping you this season and the ones that, are putting in the work to make this Howland program what it is.
Yeah, of course. We always say this is our 4th year at it all together, and we wouldn't be able to do none of us would be able to do it without the other ones. So shout out to my coaching staff for sure. Everybody is always willing to pitch in and do their job. My assistants up at the varsity level, I have Alicia Perry. Alicia's very knowledgeable of the game. She coaches high caliber travel ball with the Bandits program. She is awesome at teaching technique and strategizing. I have Coach Haley Andrella. She is our pitching coach. She's the one calling the pitches for Tater or whoever else is on the mound. And she's great too. And at the JV level, my head coach, Stacy Baxter, she's back with us. The girls love her. She loves being down there with them, and she's always up supporting us when she can be as well. And also Coach Hannah Burke, she is the assistant at JV. Hannah is has a pitching background, and she's able to get the pitch calls and that down at the JV level.
All right, Coach. One thing I have to say about Coach Andrella, and I've seen you guys plenty of times, she coaches a great game calling pitches. When you have a pitcher like Brooke Tater, if you don't have someone that can also know how to use her and call the right pitches at the right time, then you know as well as I do, you're still in a tight spot. And Coach Andrella calls wonderful pitches, wonderful game calling pitches. So you're blessed to have her.
She does a great job. And this year, besides Tater, we're going to have, some younger girls also pitching in on the mound. Micah Bancik's going to get some reps on the mound. Callie Vardavis is going to get some reps on the mound, and they each have a different technique and have something different to offer on the mound. And Haley's really good about knowing when we should use who and where we should put them at, maybe in a lineup or a game situation. So yes, definitely fortunate to have her.
Coach, we appreciate your time getting us ready for the Howland softball season. We wish you the best of luck, and we can't wait to see you out there, and we'll talk to you in real soon.
All right. Thank you.
Howland softball gearing up for a really good season this year, and Coach Waite did it. I can't talk about him any more than Coach Waite just did. I can't set up the season any more than Coach did in that interview. There's nothing more I can say to add on to that. They're going to have a fantastic year, a very brutal AAC. Of course, you have a state champion in there in Fitch, and you have a state runner-up in Canfield. And oh, by the way, a very talented Boardman team and a scrappy, never wants to lose Warren Harding team as well. So that AAC is no joke. Howland is going to be tested and tested and tested time and time again. But they have the players, man. They have the players to answer the call. They have players that I would go to war with by saying they're some of the best in the Ysn family, athletes that are just incredible down there in Howland. And it is a good time to be a Tiger. So before we get out of here, let's keep it with Howland. Let's preview tonight because we do have one event on the network tonight. I'm taking it in Howland. It's volleyball in spring. in spring volleyball? Yeah. Boys volleyball in Howland opens the season. Second year it's been an OHSA regulated sport. I was not able to get to a boys volleyball match last year, and I am so excited to do the first one this year. In the first game of the season, Berkshire, Howland, 6:45 on ysnlive.com. Can we do volleyball in the spring? Absolutely, we can. We got you covered, and it's going to be a great season for boys volleyball in the state of Ohio. We have a couple of YSN teams that have teams, so we will be there as much as we humanly possibly can. Might be a good thing to do on a rainy day when softball and baseball get canceled. Hey, you know what? This volleyball thing is indoors. We don't have to wait for rain to stop to play. Let's mosey on over there, do a volleyball game. So I will be in Howland tonight. Going to be a fun one. 6:45 is your start time. It is a free broadcast, and it will be live on ysnlive.com/live. Howland versus Berkshire boys volleyball on the network, live, 6:45. Can't wait. Going to be fun. I will have to duck and cover a lot. I'm on the floor. I'm right on the floor for volleyball. And if you thought the girls hit it hard, the boys are taking it up a notch. So I'm going to have my head on a swivel down there while I'm broadcasting because, there might be some projectiles going right at me. Pray for your boy out there. You know what I'm saying? That'll do it for today's episode of Running Point as well. Want to thank everyone for tuning in. We have good numbers today. We're at 66 viewers right now. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in today to Running Point. Love our supporters here on the show. Want to thank Nicole Wade for her time giving it to us and giving us that interview as well. A great preview for Howland. And then we'll preview tomorrow. We will come back with Scotty Mincher on the show. We will recap the volleyball from tonight. We will talk about the girls all-star roster, break that down, break the players down, and we'll see what's on Scotty's mind. He always brings great stuff to the show. So don't miss tomorrow's episode of Running Point from 1 to 2 on ysnlive.com. As always, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town.